guys, welcome back to my Oko channel. I did a video on top 5 beginner mistakes about 2 years ago, and since then I've been doing full-time teaching up until now. So I thought I would do like an updated version or kind of like a part 2 to that video. If you haven't watched that video before, you can go and watch it here right now. I think it's over here. If you haven't watched that video yet, you can go and watch it here. If you're a beginner, you can keep watching because I'm going to give you 3 tips in this video. Okay, so the first thing I want to bring up is hand and finger positions. Let me just grab my flute. Some of you will be doing this when you play. You see that? These 2 sad things hanging down here. Yeah, that's right, I'm talking about you. I actually see this surprisingly often and it needs to stop. It needs to stop immediately. I'm just gonna like smack it out of you. Okay, so obviously don't do this, but let me tell you exactly why, because I like to give a reason for everything. If your fingers are all the way down here, how are you going to play fast passages? Let's say you're playing a scale. You'll have to add in a whole extra step to move your fingers up here and then press the keys down. This is definitely gonna slow you down. Now, it might not seem like a big difference when you're playing slow things, but trust me, when you play fast stuff, it will matter. As a general rule of thumb, it doesn't even matter what instrument you're playing, really. We want to make things as efficient and as effortless as possible. Now, I know some of you are going to mention that there are famous players out there who do this. Yes, I know, because in my last video when I talked about posture, I noticed a lot of comments about Denis Biryakov or James Galway and how they play all the way down here. Whereas in the video, I said to play a 90-degree angle. So here's the thing. They're professionals. They've got things down pat already. So yes, technically you could get away with playing your flute down here, or you could, you know, have your fingers down here if you're already used to that. But if you're a beginner, you definitely don't want to start that way. Always start with the textbook way of doing things because that's the general method to make sure that you get into the correct habits first. And then once you have a good setup, then you can explore and experiment and do whatever you want, really, because everyone does have different physiology, so things like that might vary a little bit from person to person. But yes, if you're just starting out, you shouldn't be trying to replicate professionals who have a really unique setup because you're not them. Okay, so moving on to the next tip, which is about breathing. Sometimes I see people using more their upper body and using their shoulders rather than from your diaphragm or your stomach, whatever you like to call it. I'm not expert in human anatomy, so I'm just more used to using stomach because I don't like, who knows where your diaphragm is? Like, can you feel your diaphragm? No, right? But you can feel your stomach, so that's why I use that word more. Breathing from your upper body isn't ideal because it means you'll be moving unnecessarily, which means that you'll be moving your instrument around as well. It could very likely be more audible as well, which means you'll sound like you're gasping. It might not be super noticeable when you're playing slow pieces, but when you play fast pieces and you really want to take a quick breath of air really quickly, then it will be really noticeable. And another problem is if you're breathing with your upper body, you're not engaging in using your diaphragm, which would cause a whole lot of other issues, which I won't get into right now, because then this video will be 1 hour long. And the last mistake I often see in beginners is what I call the duck head. Now, I did mention posture in my last video, but I didn't really specifically talk about this, so I thought I would point it out. If you do this, I hope you don't, but if you do this, I'm honestly worried for you. There's just so many problems that this mistake could potentially cause you. It could cause you unnecessary tension, it could make you really sore, and it could prevent you from having a really smooth and supported airstream, etc, etc. There's just a lot of problems. It's a pretty easy fix. Again, if you have a wall at home, just practice for a while standing against the wall and make sure that there's not a huge gap between the back of your head and the wall. If you stick your head all the way against the wall, it might feel a little bit unnatural because you'll kind of be looking up. So I would just start by aligning your body completely with the wall and then just tilt your head down a few centimeters so that you're looking straight ahead at eye level. And then once you've done that, you bring your instrument to your head. Don't bring your head to your instrument because then that's when the duck head happens. So that was my extra 3 tips on popular beginner mistakes. If you found that helpful, remember to like and subscribe and turn on the notification button and subscribe and follow me on social media and follow me on Instagram because that's where I'm the most active. Comment below if you found any of these tips helpful and let me know what you want to see from me next. That's it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!